Welcome. You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining me and us taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. We would love for you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform every week. Get that automatically downloaded. And then also share this with a friend on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and rate and review on Apple Podcasts. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you, trying to get better like us every week. And visit leadinghope.online to get updates. Find out more about the Leading Hope community. Kevin, today on Wednesday, this Wednesday, of this release, you have titled episode 231.
Sponsored by Doritos Spicy Sweet Chili Purple Bag. If you want to invest.
Yeah, I'm going to start popping things up. Pop. There.
I like it.
We'll put it right there. Episode 231.
You know what makes me sad? Is that like old VH1 pop-up video? Like, we're all aware how great it was.
Yeah.
Why has that not become a more common thing?
Should that be the new birth of this podcast, where we do that?
Just a whole bunch of pop-ups, stuff like that.
Like random quotes from theologians.
Now, I remember someone years ago, they're like, I want, when I'm watching a movie, I want pop-up things. Like, I want when the actress walks on and just be like, she was also in this.
Oh,
because you were already thinking about it.
Yeah. What about like, hey, this is where they like to dine when they're in Los Angeles?
I'd be in.
Yeah.
I would be fascinated.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, wow.
You know what else you'd be fascinated in? Hey, this is Tom Cruise. He also was in these movies, and here's his 4-day workout plan.
Oh, yeah. I would be all in on that.
He's like, gotcha.
I like it.
Yeah.
That would be great if every single time they had a beach scene, like their workout plan. Because you're never more likely to do it. Like,
Yep, I should look like that. All right. Episode 231.
Every single time they cook something, it gives the recipe. Like, right?
Yes.
They're about to sit down for dinner, and you're like, here's this recipe.
Oh, you mean while it's actually in the movie and it's not?
They walk on the scene, and you're like, I like that shirt. And they're like, here's where you can get the shirt from. And you're like, I would never spend that much money on a shirt.
That's exactly right. Those would never be bought.
231. Everyone has 20 minutes, but today we are only going to give you 17 minutes and 30 seconds because we wasted all our time.
Hopefully you haven't turned it off yet. And if you haven't, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Episode 231, how leaders decide what to work on.
Yeah, let's go.
I got a lot. What do I do?
So, well, actually,
I got nothing. What do I do? Is that what you're going? Which way?
I am as like wired the other way. I've rarely ever been like, what do I do?
I've never had. I don't even know what that is.
But do you know it exists?
No.
It does.
Where?
It does. I'm telling you, it does.
Where?
It does for, first off, I know it does for pastors. The pastors are like, I don't really know what I should be working on. I've got a free, stop it with your skepticism. We're trying to help people.
He hasn't taken the shot, so I'm okay.
Can I also give where it happens a lot? Leaders don't know how to make things better. And so they feel people in the position of leadership.
Thank you.
I'm trying to make this accessible, and you're making it difficult for me.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. Okay, I apologize.
People in the position of leadership.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're like, well, I've had the business, and we feel stuck, and I don't know what to do.
Okay.
And so then, like, well, let me give you an easy example. We used to do this event years ago called Team Night.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, you have your team for an hour.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Go. So, like, we do a whole group, and then we'd split into small groups. You have your team for an hour. And, like, the response from several of our staff was like, what are we going to do? And, like, our reaction was like, are you kidding me? How do you not know? I told you you have an hour. Like, how do you not know what to do? But the realization that when it comes to the work of leader, not just the tasks that are handed to you, people don't know what to do. So I want to, in as graciously a way as possible, that bears respect for everyone and seeks to elevate people to a higher place.
Oh, wow. You really, hold on. Can we just interject here right here? How long did it take you to actually find a compassionate way to say that? Yeah. Like, you wrote that out.
Not in my notes. Good work, Deez. Well done on the camera.
Sorry.
Okay. So how leaders decide
Focus.
what to work on. Okay. So first thing, and if you're there and you're going, I don't have any trouble with this, maybe I can bring some clarity into some categories, because my guess is you neglect one of them.
I was going the other way with this, so I'm with you. I get it. I think
You're
works
saying I got too much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do I need to work on? I have plenty to work on. What do I need to work on?
I remember...
which is the angle I thought you were starting with. I understand the angle that you're taking here, which makes complete sense. And it introduces itself more than we probably think.
I remember reading, I've read so much on General Electric just because my dad worked there and I'm fascinated with the company culture. When Jack Welch turned it over to Jeff Immelt, the last thing he said to him, not in his life, but in the transition, is he said, just remember, you can go home, but the job's never done.
It's great.
I was just like, I feel that pressure. So the pressure of prioritization.
Yeah.
But there also is like a Wednesday afternoon, I don't have anything in my schedule. Let's go play golf.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't.
Right.
But you need to be aware of what else there is to work on. So
it's great.
The first thing, and this is like the foundation for all of this, and then I want to give people 3 implementation pieces to focus on. The foundation is the shift of the leader is from task to time. Leaders do not simply think about tasks completed, they think about time invested.
Yes.
And so I would say, I don't get to see many tasks move across the finish line. But I do need to be aware of where my time needs invested that will elevate things that are taking place.
So good.
So if I just like, and that is interesting because like when I was a youth pastor, I had a lot of tasks. I didn't have a lot of tasks because it was a lot of relational stuff. But like I had coming down to me more, get this done, get this done, get this done. I've got like typically in a week 1, get this done, and it's write the message.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is where do I need to proactively invest my time?
Correct.
Cool.
Yep.
So I just want to, so that's foundation for this. Now here's how to decide. Okay. Is I want to talk about, your priority. I want to talk about your effort, and I want to talk about your development. Cool. So we're going to break those into those 3 categories. First one, really simple. Your priority is driven by the vision. If you are a leader, your priority is driven by the vision. If you don't have a vision, you don't know your priority.
Yeah.
And your priority will now be whatever someone hands you in the moment, or the last thing that someone said to you.
Yeah.
If I could just give you, like, if you're a really good leader, you begin to understand those around you who are driven by that. Because I've got some leaders in my life that is just like, well, I know it doesn't matter what they think. It matters the last thing that someone says to them before they go do it.
Yeah.
So I make sure I'm the last person.
Yeah. just to cover that real quick, like there's a number of ways people say this, but like if you don't know how you see yourself in the vision, someone else will show you how they see you in it.
That's great. That's
not going to compute.
So if I could just like make this really simple, like I have like I was saying that like I have a planner. I've got 8 big goals for this quarter. Those 8 goals are all driven by the vision.
Yeah.
They're things that I know that only I can do within that.
Yes.
But I'm like, I'm never going in a week now. I never go, I don't know what I'm driving towards. I know exactly what I am. And it's not because of a squeaky wheel or something like that. I have a clarified vision that now sets the priority for my tasks in my time that week. Yeah. Apologize. I didn't mean to say tasks.
No,
I've now contradicted myself.
All of your is what is never really a question that you need to answer generally. It's how.
Correct. But there's people who it is.
Right.
And it's just like, well, I've got a free Wednesday morning. What should I do? Where are you headed?
Yeah.
What is the biggest impact you can make towards where you're headed?
Right.
If you don't have a longer range plan than a month, you have no idea how to allocate your time.
Yeah. That's good. Good.
All right. So that's the first one. Your priority is driven by the vision. Second piece, your cultural work. And when I say like cultural work, I mean all the side conversations, all the walking around offices, all the, hey, let's grab coffee. I got something I want to talk to you about. Like your cultural work is driven by investigation.
Ooh.
And I don't think people realize that because they don't understand the things that are unaligned in their culture because they never take time to investigate their culture.
Yeah.
And so if I could just kind of like share how I do this, like one of the biggest things I do is I try to find new ways to get people who I don't interact with continuously in the room.
Yeah.
So like when I first got here, we did a listening experience.
Yeah.
It was a great touch point for me with 90 people who I wasn't with.
Right.
We went through all the rebranding stuff. It was an amazing touch point with cross sections of groups to learn about the culture. And when I go through those things, I learn so much because I'm not just trying to complete the task, the project in that moment. I'm investigating what's really going on in people's lives and what is aligned and unaligned in our culture.
That's great.
So like other pieces, someone gets baptized. I'll come up to people afterwards. I do it just about every single week. Someone who gets baptized. Hey, tell me your story. What happened?
Yeah.
How'd you get here? Are you connected to someone? What are you doing next? Now, part of that, I'm legitimately trying to help the individual.
Sure.
And if they don't have a next step, I want to help them know it. Oftentimes, our team is so amazing. I've got to kind of wedge my way into that conversation because they're already all over it. But I want to figure out what's actually going on in their lives. With team members, is like, hey, how you feeling about this? Does this make sense to you? That's not just simple conversations. That's like, I don't know how to say it another way. Like, that's doing detective work to figure out what is valued, what's aligned, what's unaligned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think people do. I think of the things that I'm talking about here, I don't think people do much investigative work in their own culture.
Yeah.
And they'll, what I see pastors doing a lot, yeah, I'll just pick on pastors, is we'll go to other churches, other conferences, and ask 1,000 questions about what's going on, and we have no idea what's really going on in our own culture.
Oh, 100%.
So, like, one of the things I know I've got to be aligned with, I have to be aligned with what is happening with guests. What is that process? How is it working?
Right.
And so I'm asking those questions constantly because I know they're making changes to the system, which they should.
Yep.
If I'm unaware, I don't know because,
Yeah.
Good.
Yep, that's great.
All right, third piece on here is your development is driven by your next season. If your development is driven, so it is, what skill set do I need for us to advance in the season we're about to enter into? If your development is driven by the current season, you're already behind.
Yeah.
And so it's being able to look, and I believe the longer you've been somewhere, the easier it will be for you to identify what the next season is. But it's being able to look just a little bit down the line and to go, what is needed for me to figure this out to operate already at the standard before we ever enter into it?
It's good. There are times when you know this, where that investigation work is hard because you know it means that you're going to have to implement something right away.
Yep.
Which can sometimes drive you to not be a great investigative
Fair.
person.
Accurate.
You're not. So I think this is the key because I think people could hear this wrong as, hey, I'm going to become the investigator. I heard it on the podcast.
Yep.
I heard it on this podcast.
Good. Keep going.
And now I'm going to look for problems.
Yep.
How do we guard against that? Because if you're going to look for whatever you look for, you will find.
Yep.
Like, we understand this as a concept.
Yeah.
So
I'm not looking for problems.
I know I'm not.
No. I know you are. I'm glad you're clearing this up.
Yeah.
I'm looking for misaligned values and poor thinking.
Yeah. So less a system issue.
Yeah.
More of a, why do you say that about this?
And when
it doesn't align culturally.
And here's the key is when I get in there, I'm not trying to solve it at that level.
Yeah.
Because now I'm a micromanager and I've taken the authority away from the leaders who are there.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to fix it at the level that I operate at.
Yeah. Well, I love that you use the word investigator. It's just sometimes we commonly will use that in attached reporter.
Correct.
Instead of just investigator.
Yep.
Right. Like the police investigator, he's getting the information. He's not telling you anything.
Correct.
Just gathering data.
Yes.
Not saying anything. The reporter
Yep.
is, I got the data and now I'm going to shove it down everybody's throat immediately.
I'm not looking for dirt.
Right.
I'm looking
and
for
I think
truth.
It's just really pulling that out in this because you're trying to be helpful, not hurtful.
Yep.
Right. You're really trying to get people to get on the same page, for lack of a better term. Right.
Yep.
And not try to put people in positions to realize they're failing.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's a hard thing because you're like, aha,
Exactly.
I know it now. And I'm like, well, that's great, but you need to put it in a palatable way so people can actually move forward with an organization. So I love the word. I just think it can be that
Great.
negative connotation. What else do you do when you're actually trying to decide what to work on from the vantage point of I've got an open schedule? Outside of the vision. So you're looking at the vision, you're looking, hey, what do I need to accomplish in the season? You said you had 8 things that you personally needed to do.
Yeah, I have 8 goals for this
you
current
have 8
season.
goals this season.
Yeah, some of
That
it's
sounds wildly optimistic.
some of it's well,
And I'm only saying that for dramatic effect.
thank you.
But like, you know, I mean 8 goals is a lot, right? I mean, usually 3 or 4 is what people try to do in a year.
Well, I mean,
or a season.
They apply not just to church; they apply
Yeah.
to the areas of our lives.
Yeah.
So, like, one of my goals this season is that
Piece
to
of cake?
utilize the series and the conference to educate the congregation as a whole on our strategy, so they can continue to own the vision.
What conference?
Oh, Run for the One conference.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Run for the One conference. I think there's a URL.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the URL
I
is?
do. It's For the One conference.
For the One.
It's actually For the One conf.
And the theme
.com.
is Run for the One.
I'll put it in the show notes and it'll
For
apply
the
right
One conf.
For the One conf. CONF.com.
So, but let's like not simply as a promo. Like
yeah.
one of the things we realized from investigation is the church bought into the vision.
Right.
Yep. They didn't fully understand the strategy.
Yes.
And because we're asking questions, we're going. And so I'm not like, I am explaining at the individual level, but I'm also understanding the problem is systemic.
Yeah.
Like it's larger. So now we're operating at a high level and to go, let's do a conference on culture, not just.
Yeah. And can we be clear? They're right to say I'm not sure how.
Absolutely.
They're exactly right. I mean, there's no reason for them to know the day in, day out strategy because the goal and the vision so compelling.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what vision does for you. It's like, yeah, we're taking a hill. Whose hill? Your hill, my hill, everybody's hill. How we doing to do it?
No, just one hill. Just one hill.
Don't know.
No.
I know,
but just the
I'm
one
just
hill.
like, I'm throwing stuff out there, like in general, not us.
No, I'm with you.
Not us,
I'm with
like,
you.
Like, and it's like, yeah, boom, 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 right? And it's like, well, how are we gonna do it? And they're like, oh,
But I think here's the key thing: is whenever people do investigative work, and they realize things weren't as good as they thought they were,
yeah,
they're crushed. Like,
yes,
their ego is attached to this illusion of the level their organization isn't already operating at.
Yeah.
When we get that information, and I would say like when leadership at this church gets that information, we're not mad.
no,
Because now it's, so my reality is actually slightly more difficult than I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible leader.
Right.
I'm awful. I'm just
Right.
like, oh, okay. So this is reality.
Right.
Cool. Now I know.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Did you have another one on there? Do you want to stop at this? What was it? For the One conf?
Yeah. For the One conf.
.com.
Well, let me give you, so like that's the congregation piece is a massive one.
Yeah.
I've got to get involved on leadership development program stuff, not just culture.
Okay.
Because we said that we never want to have to say no to an opportunity due to a lack of leaders, and we are.
There we go.
We need, and I'm working in conjunction with others on this, metrics updated to catalyze decision making.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm noticing, I've seen a couple of examples in our past where we're not making vision-based decisions.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of data and information. It's also a little at times, someone said the other day, we thought about not doing this party after the Super Bowl. Someone goes, well, we made that decision and it worked well to do it. And I say, yeah, it took us a while to do it because we didn't want the work. I was like, I was so proud.
Yeah.
I was like, they identified it.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's good. We're just about out of time. I noticed that your planner there says a full focus planner.
yeah, I wasn't trying to advertise the planner.
I know, but
But if Full Focus Planner wants to become a sponsor,
if it really works, like, I mean, that's it.
Yep.
All right, episode 231, how leaders decide what to work on. How do you want to wrap this up?
yeah, I just want to give that emphasis of the 3 application points. Okay, so the shift of leader is from task to time. Your priority is driven by the vision. You
Yeah.
better have a vision. Cultural work is driven by investigation, not finding dirt, investigation. That's
great.
And your development must be driven by your next season.
There we go. There you have it. 231. How leaders decide what to work on. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, now's your time to do that. It would mean the world to us if you did that. And also, if you post about it, rate or review on both on Apple Podcasts. You won't believe how that helps get this in the hands of so many more leaders like you, trying to get better like us every week. And we love hearing your stories of how the podcast is working in your life and business. Visit leadinghope.online or DM us on Instagram or Facebook. We would love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count. Woo!